What's happened to the hundreds of billions of US dollars we've sent to Ukraine? No clue. Who organized those BLM riots 3 years ago? No one's gotten to the bottom of that. What exactly happened on 9/11? Well, it's still classified. How did Jeffrey Epstein make all that money? How did he die? How about JFK? And so endlessly on. Yesterday, for example, a former Air Force officer who worked for years in military intelligence came forward as a whistleblower to reveal that the US government has physical evidence of crashed non-human made aircraft, as well as the bodies of the pilots who flew those aircraft. The Pentagon has spent decades studying these otherworldly remains in order to build more technologically advanced weapons systems. Okay, that's what the former intel officer revealed, and it was clear he was telling the truth. In other words, UFOs are actually real, and apparently so is extraterrestrial life.
I'll just say that Tucker is talking about extraterrestrial life, but he looks pretty alien in this video. I've not seen him look like he's in rare form here. I mean, why is he that color?
And they got the lights dimmed and everything. They trying to set the mood. You know what I'm saying?
This looks absolute. I'm sorry, it looks so ridiculous. It's way too dark in that room. He really was not set up, not equipped to transition from being in a studio with an entire team of producers and camera workers, light engineers, sound engineers. Now he's just in a shed, I think, maybe like a Unabomber type shed with a laptop camera and no overhead lights. But I do kind of want to pat myself on the back because last week when we talked about the story, I mentioned that I was curious to know if Tucker was contractually bound by Fox News. If Fox News still owned the rights to his content, if he would even be able to do this kind of show. And if that's why he was maybe taking it to Twitter, where it's really difficult to monetize versus taking it, to another network instead of joining, doing the walk of shame to go play his role on Newsmax or OAN, But I said that I would like to know that, and we kind of have an answer now. Because too bad for Tucker, his old employer Fox News has some things to say, and they're specifically saying them in a cease and desist letter. So Axios reported that Fox sends Tucker Carlson cease and desist letter, and let's get into a little bit about why they sent that. Mike Allen reported that the contract battle between Fox and its former top host, who was taken off the air in April after the network's historic Dominion settlement, has mighty repercussions for the conservative media ecosystem. Fox is continuing to pay Carlson and maintains that his contract keeps his content exclusive to Fox through December 31st of 2024. That's a long time for Tucker. That's a year and a half that Tucker is got to be out of the game. That's the entirety of the upcoming election season, which I think would be fantastic to have him resign to, I don't know, making weird Instagram story videos, and that's the only way he could weigh in on politics instead of having a show, even if it is just on Twitter where no one's gonna watch a whole 30-minute show. I mean, what do you think? I thought that this was ridiculous, right? Like trying to start a long form show on an app where no one's there to consume long form content.
Yeah, it would have made a lot more sense if he would have just started a YouTube channel. I mean,
right.
It just really would have, because YouTube is more set up for that. People come onto YouTube to watch long form, short form. They just come onto YouTube to watch videos in general. So that kind of was weird. But Tucker Carlson realistically could have just sat the whole remainder of his contract out, and he would have kept making money as if he never lost anything.
Right.
I mean, Tucker Carlson could have never worked a day in his life if he wanted to. I mean, not that anyone really is that interested. A lot of what makes us human beings is work. Working is a lot of what we are. So I don't particularly expect him to just sit around and not do anything. But it is kind of strange to watch him like rush super fast. I gotta get to Twitter. I gotta start up another show. Like, you really don't have to do that. And also his replacement on Fox News. I don't remember if we covered it here or if it was somewhere else. I know I did it on Rebel HQ, but his replacement was like a younger version of him. He said the exact same stuff that Tucker says, and then Tucker's new show on Twitter, he's saying the same stuff that he's always said. There's nothing creative about it. There's nothing new about it. It's not like he got fired from Fox and's like, well, now I'm gonna bring people something totally different. I got something up my sleeves. It's just the same old, same old. So realistically, I don't really think he cares that much, because how could you in a position like that? He's loaded, and he's Tucker Carlson. He could take a year off and come back on some other TV program, and he would be just as popular as he ever was.
Right. Just to the point that you were making. Yeah, I think that if Cenk called me up and was like, Ray, we're gonna pay you millions of dollars. You don't have to do anything for us. You don't have to work. In fact, we're gonna pay you to not work. I'd be like, cool, I'm gonna learn a bunch of different stuff. I'm not gonna make a weird Twitter show. I'm gonna sit down and finish watching all of Veep that I haven't finished yet.
Right. I mean, if you were in a situation like that, you could literally like rethink your entire life.
Right.
No, the luxury.
Yeah, they said Tucker decided to take his talents, if you can call them that, to Twitter. And supposedly, according to Twitter's metrics, his first 2 episodes drew about 169 million viewers. Of course, we know that the way that they count those views is a little bit shady, but that's what they're reporting. But Carlson's lawyers, of course, spoke out against what Fox is claiming. They claim that they're allowed to have this show. Specifically, his attorney, Harmeet Dillon, released this statement, which says Fox News continues to ignore the interests of its viewers, not to mention its shareholder obligations. Doubling down on the most catastrophic programming decision in the history of the cable news industry, Fox is now demanding that Tucker Carlson be silent until after the 2024 election. Tucker will not be silenced by anyone. He is a singularly important voice on matters of public interest in our country and will remain so. Now, Fox has not yet released a statement, but let's just sort of dive into what complete BS that statement is, all right? Fox News does have an obligation to its shareholders, and that obligation includes, if they own the rights to Tucker Carlson, to ensure that Tucker Carlson isn't profiting off of his rights or isn't allowing another network or another organization like Twitter to profit off of the rights that they own. So that's one. Then to claim that Tucker is a singularly important voice on matters of public interest. The guy did a whole show about how he didn't want to have sex with an M&M anymore. That's a singularly important voice on politics, for the love of God.
Yes, we need it for the culture. You know what I'm saying? We absolutely need him for the culture, even though he hasn't been silenced. And that's right. Really the craziest thing about him. He hasn't been silenced whatsoever. In fact, he is on Twitter and his show's getting just as many views as it did on Fox News. But yeah, no, and then I think there was because I read a few articles on this earlier this morning. And there was another quote in there where they were talking about like the First Amendment and the freedom of speech and how Fox is trying to cut him off from his right to freely speak his mind. And it's just like, oh geez, yeah, like Tucker Carlson's such a victim. He's in such a bad state. This is just rich people trying to collect all of their money off the table. That's really all it is. I mean, what life would be like to have just that much money and to where you could just be petty. You know, I want 30 million, 20 million more dollars. It doesn't really make a difference to me, but you know, we're gonna argue about it. So, but yeah, no, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Right, and of course he's got the heir. He's the heir to the Swanson frozen food family fortune. He's got that in his back pocket too. I mean, Tucker McNear Swanson Carlson is not. He's not hard up for cash. All right, he doesn't need to have this Twitter show where I'm assuming he'll eventually digress into complaining about trans M&Ms or whatever candy is next on his list.
Right, something like that. And it just seems like a lot of work. You know, like you've been in cable for a long time. Just invest your money and go enjoy yourself, or start up a new venture or something. I don't know, but you know, it just seems like you probably will be a little bored doing what you're doing after all this time.
Right, especially as a man of no talents. I mean, maybe you could go learn a skill, perhaps.
Right. Exactly.